Shalom Aleichem. We're going to try to learn another section from Lekutei Halachot, the third halacha in Lekutei Halachot, also section 3. And that is the aspect of waking up at midnight. That even though that the sleep is a great correction for the mind, because by the faith we are renewing while we are asleep, even though we need to make sure to stand up in the half of the night, at midnight. Half of the night, just for you to know and understand, half of the night is, how will you know when is the half of the night? Half of the night is the middle of the time from sunset till sunrise. Let's say that the night is 8 hours from sunset till sunrise, so after 4 hours it's midnight. Midnight is not 12. Midnight is in the half of the night. So in the winter, when nights are longer, so the middle of the night will be later. Then in the summer, when nights are shorter, that midnight will be in an earlier hour. So in the middle of the night, because we need to break the sleep and to wake up and to cry on the temple's destruction and to hope for the redemption to come. Because night, that is darkness, the lack of knowledge, is included from two parts, the night, that are the half of the first night and the half of the second part of the night, that they are standing representing and reflecting those two aspects of questions and doubts that a person have in life, like we explained in earlier classes from Lekutei Halachot, that one kind of questions that a person can have in life are questions that cannot be solved, that answers cannot be found for them, and on questions like those a person should not try to answer, because Kol ba'ea lo yeshuvun, everyone that will try to go answer to that direction on questions that cannot be answered, there is no answer to them in this world, he will not come back from that path. He'll come to bent and twisted conclusions. And the other kind of questions are questions that has an answer, but hard to find. So those, it's a big mitzvah, it's a great thing to try to answer those questions, even though it might take time. Okay? So half of the first night is equal to one, and the half of the other is equal to the other. Because the half of the first night, in that time, the darkness and judgments are very, very hard. Because then the darkness is pulling from those questions that there are no answer to them. The darker hours are in the first half of the night, when those questions are questions that are very severe and hard, and there is no way to answer them, and therefore a person must go to sleep, that it's to throw away his wisdom, because then you need to throw your wisdom totally and to count only on faith, because there is no answer, so you must only trust Hashem. And that is an aspect of sleep. But at the middle of the night, judgments are being sweetened and cancelled. And then, from that knowledge, and then in the middle of the night, we are not longer trapped in those questions that does not have answers. And then we need to stand up and to put the effort in learning Torah and praying. And by that, we're pulling wisdom and opening paths of mind to have the merit to know true knowledge of Hashem, of the truth, and to saddle and understand and answers to those questions that you can answer. So the second part of the night, the second half of the night, is the time to wake up and to put the effort to try to answer those questions that can be answered. And that's why it's written, in the middle of the night, King David said, I will stand up to thank you for the justified trials, for the trials of justice. trials of justice, because by waking up in the middle of the night to learn Torah, to pull the wisdom, by that, and that is the aspect of learning poskim, means to learn what we allowed to do and what we not allowed to do. For that we're learning Torah, to know our way, to understand what Hashem wants from us and in what path we must go. By that we're pulling knowledge to our hearts, to our minds, to settle those questions that can be settled. And that we are achieving by learning Torah in the middle of the night. And like we learned in the Zohar HaKadosh, the book that was written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and in the words of Rav Nachman of Breslev in Torah 149, in Lekutei Moharan, that by standing up in the middle of the night and by learning then Torah, by that we're pulling wisdom, knowledge, and like we learned, that in the middle of the night, the second half of the night begins, and all judgments are being sweetened and cancelled, and the darkness is not being pulled more to darken the night, just it's pulling towards the awakeness, the illumination of the morning. So that is actually the aspect of questions that can be settled, just that the paths of wisdom are still blocked, still it's hard to find answers to those questions. That is the aspect of the darkness of the night, but it's not the peak of darkness. And therefore we need to learn Torah to open the paths of wisdom, to achieve complete wisdom, in when the day will appear, to rise and increase the faith in a complete way, when the sun will rise, when the dawn will rise, and then the faith is completed in the aspect of what we said that is written in the Zohar Kadosh, Nafkat Betzafra, the sun, the light, the mind, the wisdom is rising in the morning, that is the aspect of the obligation of the person to be himself, the one to wake up dawn. Thank you. Lekutei Halachot is such an amazing book. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to keep on learning, hopefully on a daily basis. Thank you, super thank you super much. Be well. My name is RDMC with the Muna Project, all the nations with me. Close your eyes, just breathe, see the truth. Don't chase the fake world, don't buy the fake news. Be yourself, your own true self. Don't let no one take our natural wealth. See the good, no fear, no despair. Cherish who that you are and share. Source of power from an endless spring, light of courage in yourself. They can kick you down to the ground. Hold yourself up till you are, put up your crown. King of the Creator, holy soul inside. Focus on the spiritual.